Hello and welcome to another episode of Next Game Dilemma, your board gaming podcast. So I am coming to you with a solo review of the Golden Ticket game by Buffalo Games and Puzzles. With a 20 to 30 minute average playtime, it seems like it fits right in a lot of people's sweet spot. Now, I actually have been really impressed by this game. It's actually become one of my games that I will use as my go-to to teach new players or introduce new people into the hobby. With simple mechanics and how easy it is to learn, everything you really do is it gives you a lot of satisfaction. You're either drawing cards, gaining money, or buying Wonka bars or trading resources for Wonka bars. So you're always doing something that's somewhat gratifying. There's never anything that detrimental, or you have to make a tough decision like, oh, if I don't do this, I do this. So I think it takes a lot of the pressure out of these type of games. Okay, before I get a little too ahead of myself, let's go ahead and just do the quick setup to get this out of the way, and let's go ahead and visualize this. First of all, depending on how many players you're playing with, that's what determines how many Wonka bars and golden tickets will be. In this case, since we're going to be doing a 1v1 game, it'll just be 2 players, so we'll have a total of 34 Wonka bars and 1 golden ticket that we can find. So this means out of those 34 Wonka bars, only one of them should have a golden ticket, which you'll shuffle in, trying your best to not know where they are. And the goal is to go ahead and try to get the golden ticket to make your way into the chocolate factory. If it were a 3-player game, it'd be using 2 golden tickets, and then so on going down to 3 tickets and 4 tickets for a 5-player game. The basic premise of the game is it's a 3x3 grid that has tiles where you'll be able to move and activate their abilities. Each tile has a unique ability as well as being a unique either scene or location from the iconic movie, like the marketplace, the classroom, or the Wonka factory gates. One of the nice things about these tiles is that they're modular, so you have side A and side B, which side A is recommended for beginners or first time playing, and side B sort of mixes things up and allows different strategies. Now we choose our character. You get to choose out of the 5 children that were in the movie that made it into Willy Wonka's factory. For this instance, I will be Charlie Bucket, and my phantom opponent, or the Necronoma Printer, will be Augustus Gloop. Now that we've chosen our character, we can collect our allowance. Our allowance is the amount of money that we start with. For me, Charlie Bucket, since I'm the poorest of the group, I'll start with only $3, while Augustus Gloop, while not being the richest, starts at a pretty good $5. According to the rules, the last person who has had chocolate is the person who will go first. I guess that's going to be the Necronoma Printer since I've been on keto. Whoever ends up being first will draw 6 cards, then discard 2 for a remaining hand of 4 cards. Every other player will draw 6 cards and discard 1 for a starting hand of 5. And now here's how you play your turn. On your turn, you get to choose 2 out of 3 actions. You may choose the same action twice, and actions can be performed in any order. You can choose to play one of your cards and place it below your mat. Then just follow the directions on the card. One of the other options is you can discard a card to move 1 space. So you'll discard a card and put it into the discard pile. Remember, this is very specific. You put it into the discard pile, not under your mat. That's only when you play a card. And you will move your pawn. You will move it 1 space, up, down, left, or right. You may not move diagonally. Whenever you move to a space, you may immediately take the effect of the space. Depending on where you go, it'll either have you doing things like gaining money, possibly buying Wonka bars, or resolving an effect called sweeping. Sweeping is signified by a little broom icon, and what it does is you take cards from your played area and you put them into your discard pile. Some might say things like sweep 2 mystery cards and then gain 2 Wonka bars. So you would take 2 mystery cards that you have played and you'd put them into your discard pile. And finally, the final action you can take is refill your hand. If you have fewer than 4 cards, draw cards until you have 4 in your hand. This is a really important mechanic for some of the characters because they get to draw extra cards or draw free cards in the case of Augustus Gloop. For example, his ability is if your hand is ever to become empty, you may refill your hand for free. So you could play your final card and then have no cards, and instead of taking a turn or taking an action to refill your hand, he gets to do it for free. Now, after taking 2 of those actions, you will end your turn, and depending if you're on the same space as Willy Wonka, a little Meeple Wonka, he will give you a Wonka bar. Then you roll the Wonka dice to determine his new location. An interesting thing is they give you a 6-sided dice, but 9 tiles. So meaning no matter what, he will only ever show up in the first 6 tiles. Really interesting. Not really, but I mean, I found it really interesting. And that's the round. Now the player to the left begins their turn. Now each player will take their turns taking actions, getting gold, buying Wonka bars, sweeping cards for Wonka bars, moving. Now, one of the cool things is not everything is about money. For example, Charlie Bucket having the least amount of money, $3. His ability is whenever you sweep cards, you may move 1. So like we said earlier, whenever you move to 1 space, you get to take that action for free. So playing cards and sweeping cards with Charlie Bucket gets him free actions. So that's his benefit. Versus Augustus Gloop being able to draw free cards whenever his hand is empty. And then you just take turns back and forth until all the bars are gone. You have to go through each bar to see if you found the golden ticket. With all that being said, we've actually had a few times to play it, and I even got a chance to play it with my eldest daughter, who was 11 at the time, and she actually got it really easy. She was able to play and adapt strategies to her character that she got, and she was even talking smack, saying how broken it was and how good it was. So that was pretty fun. She has seen the movie and she's seen the awful version of this movie, but so she is actually super happy that it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which I am too. This brings so much nostalgia, and I can't say enough things about the beautiful art that each tile, each card has. From the simple art of the characters to the art on each of the tiles, all the different areas and the scenes that they depict, just the lightness and how everything is actually done. Like, I'm not a big art guy, like I'm more on mechanics, but I can't say enough good things about this. It could just be the fact that it's Willy Wonka and it's, you know, a little extra more nostalgia for me, but I was really smitten by it, including the cards, like everything that you pull out, lickable wallpaper, the honey cup, which that one for me is my favorite because it took me a second to remember where the honey cup was. And, you know, if you remember where it is, you know, write in, give us a DM on the Instagram and tell us that you knew where the honey teacup was from this movie, because, you know, not everybody's gonna remember. It took me a second. But, you know, from the Scrumdiddlyumptious bar to the Everlasting Gobstopper, you know, all the cards are just wonderfully illustrated and they're just vibrant, quite amazing. So some of the pros is the fact that, you know, it's amazingly easy to learn. The fact that I played it with my 11-year-old daughter, and, you know, it was quite enjoyable each time. You know, laughs were had. It definitely has a wow factor. If you're nostalgic for the movie, or if you know somebody that is, this would be just an amazing gift because it's simple. You can pop it out, play it whenever. It's not a drag. It doesn't have 1,000 components or anything like that. Everything that you need is in a simple box. The insert is beautiful. A small thing that I don't like is the fact that, like most inserts, they don't account for people wanting to sleeve the cards. These cards are a bit velvety, so I think that they'll wear a little bit, so I'm not sure if I'll keep that part or if maybe I'll fix it or do something with it. But that's one tiny gripe that I have for this game. It's just the insert for the cards doesn't account for possible sleeving. The quality of everything is actually really good, minus it seems like my only gripes with this game is the fact that the insert doesn't take in account for people wanting to sleeve it. The cards are a bit velvety. Like I said earlier, the money is a little weird because the 3s and the 1s are the exact same color. They mix and you can't quite tell, so you have to pay really, really close attention to when you're pulling money or paying money. And then the final thing that I don't like is the fact that they chose not to wrap this game in like some sort of like shrink wrap or something, because the top of the case, the corners of the case are it's so easy to nick them, to scuff them.
I've seen, I think, like between 13 and 20 copies of this game when I went out to get my copy, and I still don't have like a super minty copy. I picked the best one that I could find. All of the covers were scuffed and a lot of the corners were really wrecked, and I don't attribute that to Buffalo Games and Puzzles. I actually attribute that to Target and the amount of public animals that go there and just, move things and shove things in. In one of the Targets that I was in, they even had them in like these weird slidable caddies where, if you're familiar with like milk, how when you pull milk out, it pushes it back in. It was sort of one of those things. So all of the corners were just trashed and it was just scuffed. There was like a good 4 copies that were just utterly destroyed, and I wouldn't even have, I don't know if I would have ever picked them up even to give them as to like donations to anything, because it was just so ugly. It was really unfortunate. But there's not too many cons to this game. The fact that it's not too deep. Okay, it's an intro game. It's very easy. So the only other thing that I'd have to complain about this is that it has sort of a luck factor. Even if hypothetically I got 90% of all of the chocolate bars, my opponent, the very lucky economic printer, could have only gotten 2 or 3 chocolate bars because for whatever reason they weren't doing anything of significance, but they could still win and get a golden ticket, whereas I did not. That's actually probably the most thematic part of this game, the fact that you can't buy your way into the chocolate, or into the golden ticket. You're just gonna randomly get it. So this does have a big luck factor, and one of those things is that it creates stories. One of the cards says you have to choose a player, they gain a Wonka bar, and then you get to move your pawn or your player to whatever space you want to. When I played it with my partner Christina, one of the first things that happened was I played that card. She took a Wonka bar and put it to the side and was like, "This is the one. This is the one that's going to win me the game." And of course, at the very end of the game, I had a massive stack, and we were just going through the Wonka bars after Wonka bar. No ticket, no ticket, no ticket. And finally, she looks over to the solemn one bar that was left, the one that she had called the Baby Ruth style, or I guess in this case, Wonka style. And she said, "This is the game winner." Pulls it out, and of course, there is that stupid golden ticket. And of course, that's a big loading one for her. So I'm not going to hear the end of that one for a while. It's like, "Remember when you gave me that golden ticket?" Yeah, you gave me that golden ticket. So every time that we've played this, it's always been laughing, really lighthearted, but you still had to make decisions. So it never felt empty. Okay, I will tell them. The Necronomicon printer would like you to know that the base price for this game is actually $20, so it's super, super affordable. I don't remember the last time that I have ever received so much for $20, honestly. Like, I've seen games that are just decks of cards that are $20. Boom, here's your deck of cards and a few pieces of cardboard. No offense to any of those games if you happen to be good, like Land, Sea, and Air, or Air, Land, and Sea, whatever that game's called. That game's fantastic, but all it is a deck of cards and a couple of tile pieces. This is a bunch of tile pieces, a deck of cards, dice, money, meeples, chocolate bars for $20. The value is actually outstanding. That's why it's hard for me to complain about the money in-game, about the scuffed boxes, about the corners or anything. It's hard for me to complain because it's $20. You can scrape $20 together and pick up a sweet game no matter what. This will be a good addition to anybody who needs more intro games like I do. Yeah, my collection is full of Agricolas and Euros and all kinds of stuff, but it's lacking of some more friendly games, some more intro games. So this is a welcome addition to my collection. So overall, with the nostalgia factor, the fact that it's $20, how much value I'm actually going to get out of this, I think for me, it's going to be like a good 7 tentacles up out of 10 tentacles. Like I said, it may not be the most in-depth game, but it's definitely going to be a game that we're going to get good use out of. taking it to introduce players. Definitely going to be taking this back when we go to vacation and showing it to some of our friends that aren't quite gamers. This is a perfect game for that. I can sit through and enjoy and see other people understand immediately and then be like, okay, let's play again. Let's flip it over to the B-sides. Let's get those going. So I definitely recommend it, and I know my 11-year-old recommends it. Alex recommends it. We'll probably end up talking a little bit more about this when we are able to get together again. We're trying a little new format here for some more solo reviews so we can get these podcasts out to you. There's also a written review of this game on our website, nextgamedilemma.com. Check us out over there.
If you had a chance to play the game, please let us know what you think, and if you thought my review was accurate, what would you add, what would you subtract? Let us know. From everybody that couldn't be here and from me, take it easy, guys.